You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is Seyitan Atigarin with stories trending around the world, looking beautiful in Friday best, shall I call this?
I'll take it. You look lovely as well, ladies. TGIF, definitely my best day of the week. But do I have some stories for you this morning? Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. Starting here in Nigeria, as Nigerian governors have thrown their weight behind the federal government's tax reform bills. However, they are proposing a new sharing formula for value-added tax. The decision followed a meeting of the Nigerian Governors Forum and the Presidential Tax Reform Committee, which was held yesterday. In a communique at the end of the meeting, the Governors Forum reiterated its strong support for comprehensive reform of Nigeria's archaic tax laws. Members acknowledged the importance of modernizing the tax system to enhance fiscal stability and align with global best practices. The governors, of course, proposed a revised VAT sharing formula, which they said would ensure equitable distribution of resources. And here is how Nigerian people are reacting. The first tweet there reads, "I am glad this tax reform has been approved. This will be well received by those with low pay. Imagine not seeing that 8K or 9K monthly leaving your account. It will truly help." The next tweet there reads, "The governor's proposal is a clear indication that they are not ready to improve on derivation with no plans to increase productivity. Any governor who envisages increase in productivity from his state would be against sharing his derivation with lazy, unproductive states." Our last tweet there reads, "This is a thoughtful and balanced approach by the Nigerian Governors Forum, prioritizing equitable resource distribution, economic stability, and the welfare of citizens. A step in the right direction for sustainable growth. May Nigeria be great." And finally, the tweet there reads, "That's a good consensus. Nigerians are learning how to agree, to disagree, to agree." Now, ladies, of course, I watched you on this morning talking about this, and it's trending because it's something that had been dragging out for a long time. A lot of people were looking at it, and why are the northern governors opposed to it? And now with this new sharing formula, the simulation that is out there now is that the most likelihood is that Lagos and Rivers would be losing, so to speak, but then again, it's in the national interest, and then we're seeing the remaining 34 states would be having, more, especially from the derivation tax. I know you've touched on it, but I'd like to still hear your thoughts this morning.
Okay, so let me take another angle since we spoke about this earlier today. I think the last tweet, of course, one of the things that had been criticized is the governor's unwillingness with regards to the sharing formula. What the federal government had proposed through this bill had been equality at 20%, derivation at 60%, and population at 20%. What they're asking for with this new proposal is equality 50%, derivation at 30%, and population back to 20%. What had been seen, and I love that tweet that said that it was an opportunity for us to begin to hold the governors to task, to actually be creative in making their states productive. That's what that previous sharing formula would have done. But I do agree with one of the senators who was there, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan, who had said that especially the northern governors were ill-prepared. Yes, they were ill-prepared, and I think it was Governor Sule who said that they were not lucky enough to have enjoyed, to be prepared. I said, it's not luck that makes a state productive. It is the thinking and the action by the governors who are the CEOs that translate to productivity, which some of the states are already enjoying because their states are thinking and they are productive. So I think that, yes, we might move forward with this, but I hope that it gives an opportunity for them to rethink and see how they can begin to do the work for which they are elected for and to which they receive a salary, which is to actually make their states productive. But we cannot emphasize enough the benefits of the tax reform bills transmitted from the executive to the National Assembly, and hopefully this would pass. Finally, I'll just say this. This is coming after the fact. Recall that if this had happened during the consultation stage, as proposed or as wanted by Mr. Taiwo Edele, the chairman of that committee, we wouldn't have waited this long or had that back and forth. The governors would have done what they were supposed to have done during consultation state and brought out their own recommendations without having to wait for all this to happen, then them asking for a withdrawal. So again, holding them to task. Let them do what the people have elected them to do.
Vimbai.
Absolutely. Well, some of the arguments, there's so many ways to unpack, and gosh, we've heard so many different perspectives on this issue. Now, when you look at some of the dissent towards the new sharing formula and those who are feeling that there's some states who are already in a position of competitive advantage and it makes it unfair for other states. I know one of the arguments that's on the ground is the fact that, well, listen, Lagos used to be the capital of Nigeria. Lagos, because of that, benefited from immense investment from the national budget because it was the capital. And then that infrastructure still exists, even though the capital was then moved to Abuja. That, shall I say, legacy infrastructure still exists. And some people say that, well, not many other regions got to benefit from such an investment. So some are arguing and they're saying that, okay, fine, well, can we also get the same type of investment that one gave to a Lagos state to develop to become a capital so that there can be some sort of even playing field? Well, that's a debate. It's subject to people coming and unpacking that and looking at the realities of it. Another one of the arguments, of course, is the case of the port. And those saying that, well, we are inland and the port has, again, a competitive advantage with regards to economic activity. So I personally feel that this debate around the tax reform bill highlighted the fact that as a nation, it's time for a national dialogue. There are a lot of issues that various groups are carrying. There's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of unresolved tension. And I really, really think a national dialogue is sort of the same way there's supposed to be a youth confab. There needs to be a national dialogue that's open to all and where all can participate so that let's express all these things that we're all harboring so that we can now come together and come up with a national agenda and say, okay, these are the real things that each region or state feel is holding them back in progress, because many regions and states, this has highlighted, many regions and states feel aggrieved and feel marginalized, and we can't move forward for as long as there are people who feel that they're being marginalized in their own country.
Very well said. Well, let's move on to another story. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, says that the production of petroleum products by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the importation of refined products from Europe. In its latest monthly report, OPEC noted that the Dangote Refinery, which began exporting petrol in December 2024, has contributed to an oversupply in the European market. The Amsterdam-Rotterdam-Antwerp trading hub has already experienced elevated petrol inventories amidst sluggish seasonal demand, and the refinery's growing output is compounding this trend. OPEC further stated that the ongoing recovery in gasoline refinery output levels will likely exacerbate the already bearish market sentiment. Moreover, the ongoing operational ramp-up efforts at Nigeria's new Dangote refinery and its first gasoline exports to the international market will likely weigh further on the European market. So this is interesting. We're seeing Dangote making strides. Of course, we cannot put the responsibility of PMS, the pricing of PMS, solely on him. But it's kind of interesting that he's making a dent in Europe, and in Nigeria, we're still trying to figure out what's going on. Ayo.
I love this kind of news we like to hear. It's not every time that we talk about how let Nigeria sneeze and the West catch a cold. I love it. So this is what happens with investment and government support. Remember, in 2024, we had a lot of back and forth between the Dangote refinery and the government. $20 million invested there by an individual who, according to what he said, wanted to really make a contribution and help Nigeria with its fuel, fuel security. What we've now seen is the ripple effect of that. I love the fact that OPEC has said that the ongoing operational ramp-up efforts at Nigeria's new Dangote refinery, exports to international markets, will likely weigh further on the European gasoline market. Mm-hmm. What this means is that where we used to import a lot, we are now importing less. Fantastic. Fantastic in many ways. Also for our foreign reserves, our much needed, dollar reserves. Fantastic to see that it would reduce the pressure on that. But I have to say that whilst we thank the federal government that, selling crude in Naira to Dangote, the support they have, this administration has given, there's more to come. In a newspaper report this morning, I think by Punch newspaper, they say that NNPC or Dangote is now having to resort to importing crude oil because NNPCL is not able to meet the demands by Dangote, who are looking to ramp up. This is something to look into. What they assured Dangote was that they were going to give them enough crude feed to, for their refinery. They have the capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, which is higher than a number of giants in Europe. Shell Pennies, GOI Energy, BP Rotterdam. That's saying a lot from Nigeria to the rest of the world. So beyond even meeting local needs, he's also talked about even being able to export. Not only does it reduce the pressure on our foreign currency, but it also helps us bring in the much desired forex that we often talk about. So this is great news. Congratulations to the Dangote Group. And we're looking for more strides, more wins in 2025, following the hassle that they went through in 2024.
Oh, they went through a lot. They went through a lot very quickly. I know you want to move on to your next story, but in the first 9 months of 2024, we spent $1.25 billion importing fuel. So I don't know any economy that will not feel the absence of $1.2 billion not coming to them for the provision of a service. So undoubtedly that was going to make a dent. But it still begs the question, is Dangote Refinery still getting the necessary supports that it needs? Because when you now start hearing these stories that the promised crude oil from NNPC is not being delivered, you now ask yourself, okay, how much fuel is actually coming out of the Port Harcourt Refinery? Warri Refinery, they told us that it can't produce fuel yet. So my question is, where's the oil? These are really, for me, the bigger issues, especially now as we're seeing the oil price. Reuters has been reporting consistently that the oil price is going up. It's increasing. So we're in a good place. So last year, the projections for oil price were very pessimistic. But in fact, we're right on target because we've benchmarked at $75. And this morning, we were around the $80 mark. But now the oil is unavailable. So it's just like, you solve one problem and you go into the next one. So, I mean, just praying for the oil sector, continuing to hope that, this year we can see stability and less drama.
Sorry, you said unavailable, and I just saw myself doing this. Like, that's so... that's
what you were doing.
No, the CGI with me. All right, then let's move on to our next story. Very interesting one, ladies. An AI-generated con featuring Brad Pitt is causing quite a stir in France. A French interior designer known as Annie was scammed out of 830,000 euros after she was duped into thinking that she was in a relationship with a Hollywood actor and that he needed money for cancer treatment. She disclosed being scammed by individuals pretending to be Brad Pitt. They used fake social media and artificial intelligence image creating technology to craft an elaborate and heartbreaking swindle. The 53-year-old woman was convinced they were in love and that the actor needed money for cancer treatment after around a year and a half of exchanges. And you can see the pictures on there, Brad in the hospital, Brad taking drip, I don't even understand how. We're talking about over $1 million here, ladies. That's
700,000 pounds.
Yeah,
830.
Yeah. So I don't even understand. She said that I was watching the clip from the interview, and she said, that he said he needed, because he was going through a divorce with Angelina Jolie, so he didn't have it. He froze the accounts. Ladies, why is this? How come this is still happening?
So it's a very funny story. But I feel poor woman. All she was looking for was love. Can somebody...
From Brad Pitt.
Let's
be realistic here,
He said that the way the person wrote, he had a way with words. So it was easy for her to fall in love. At this age, 53, you look, and then someone like Brad Pitt shows interest in you. You will sell your house, you sell a kidney to meet his needs if you think he was the real guy.
Why did she go and visit him in the hospital?
Well, exactly. So these are some of the questions. I think a lot of people have talked about this story. In fact, the news outlet that featured her story had to take down the story because she was being trolled massively. People were making fun of her. And I think people should just be a bit kinder. You never know what people are going through in this life. But the only thing I'd want to say is to use this story, though funny and sad, to learn a lesson, because a lot of people have fallen victim of scammers. And Brad Pitt's camp have come out to say that it's awful that scammers take advantage of the strong bond between fans and celebrities. Even if they're not, that's why I say even non-celebrities are able to scam. Have you not received emails about one prince that is in Africa that needs you to send money to unlock millions of dollars or pounds, hundreds of millions? So one thing to be sure, like you said, if you can, make sure that you're able to visit. Number two, AI is now, we see the danger of AI, because when we would have said, okay, do a video call, we see that his images were AI generated and put on an actual body in the hospital. So check and check again. Then if it sounds too good to be true, my sister, it is probably too good to be true that Brad Pitt is contacting you and asking you to help him with money. He's a public figure. One or two searches or checks can help you. We need to, a lot of misinformation is being spread online. We need to do our due diligence so that we don't fall prey to scammers. It's quite sad. She's lost a lot of money. Ironically, the money was money she made from a divorce settlement from her ex-husband. So I don't know what the ex-husband will be doing right now. Like, the money that you got from me as divorce settlement. A really sad story.
I mean, but I just got a message from George Clooney. Once you know.
Oh, come on. It's possible. See, the evolution of 419, I think, needs to be a university course in itself. If you look at where we've come from, the Nigerian prince, I don't know if you've read a book called I Do Not Come to You by Chance. I can't remember the author, but it's a Nigerian author, and it depicts, the machinery behind the Nigerian prince phenomenon is told in a fictional story. And now here we are, and I shudder to believe what the possibilities are. If these, whatever you want to call them, Yahoo boys, G boys, they get their hands on AI, we're really in trouble. So, I know that elsewhere there's a lot of work being done on AI. We spoke about this earlier, but this is also a call for cybercrime authorities globally to understand that we've reached a new dimension in the fight against fraud, because this is very scary. And the unfortunate thing is that most people will fall for it. If people could fall for the Nigerian prince email, what more for this type of thing that seems so realistic?
I would never fall for, I'm sorry to say,
never,
for the Dubai prince.
Dubai prince?
The Nigerian prince.
People fall for it,
It depends on where I think she was emotionally vulnerable. She had just come through a divorce. She was looking for love. He had the right words to say.
Not the wrong places.
Sometimes we know these things that it's not sensible, but you want to live in an alternative universe where you are creating your own story.
Like nobody knows, just me and Brad.
Just me and Brad. We're joking. No, please. But
I don't know.
Just do your due diligence. The lady is Adobe Trish and Waubani. I did not come to you by chance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
fantastic. But it just goes to show you that fraud and fraudsters are always looking for creative ways to execute. Now there's new technology available to them, and gosh, I really just hope we can educate ourselves and also figure out how to decipher between AI and reality.
Yeah.
All right, then let's end today's What's Trending with some feel-good, inspiring stories. Now let's start with the Mass Communication Department at the University of Lagos that has produced an unparalleled record by graduating 18 all-female first-class graduates at the 55th convocation of the university. This remarkable feat was unveiled during the award of first-degree honors at the ceremony, which commenced on Tuesday. Now, speaking at the event, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, commended the graduates for their resilience and commitment to academic excellence despite Nigeria's challenging environment, and emphasized the importance of perseverance and integrity, values the university seeks to instill in its students. However, what's more exciting for us is that among the distinguished graduates was Dr. Ruben Abati, an esteemed journalist and morning show anchor on Arise News, who earned a Master of International Law and Diplomacy degree. Reflecting on his achievement, Dr. Abati credited his unrelenting pursuit of knowledge as a motivation and encouraged younger generations to embrace lifelong learning. Let's take a look.
We can always learn. I mean, there was one of the graduating students, a professor in another university, who came to Unilag to take a master's degree. Already a professor. And what does that, say to us? Apart from that professor, I saw another guy who came to me, PhD holder, teaching at Maritime University. He also came here to do a master's degree in maritime finance. So, I mean, there's no end to knowledge. We learn throughout life. So You take one degree, you learn something there, you move to another one. After that one, you move to another one. Just, gaining knowledge, because education is a lifelong enterprise. And the thing to say is to encourage younger people to know that, there is no end to education, no end to knowledge, and you are not too big to keep learning. So after this one now, we'll go and get another degree somewhere in another subject perhaps.
Dr. Abbas, I don't know how he does it. He comes here, does the morning show from Monday to Friday. He does This Day Live. He's writing articles. He's getting a degree, a radio show, and he's still he gets time to actually talk to people. Dr. Abbas, I might not be here on Monday, but implications, okay?
He still has time for romance.
Yes.
So, I stand an all-rounder.
Yes.
Congratulations to him and to all the graduates here from yesterday's 55th convocation ceremony. Many things about Unilag this year. Of course, the first female vice chancellor, and to also see the 18 first-class graduates. I have to say something that when people see first-class graduates, some people think, it's because the course was easy or they were lenient. No, in developed countries, the sign that a lot of people are able to pass your course very well is a good sign. It means, number one, you're a good tutor, or you pay very close attention to teaching and learning. We analyze or we jig our mindset. What we often see is that, my course is very hard. Nobody will pass, nobody will get it, and it is a sign of achievement. We're happy that people are failing the course because it shows that you're very tough. It makes no sense. If you school abroad, if your students consistently fail your course, they will ask you questions because it means you're doing something wrong. And if people are not getting, so lecturers support you to being the best in your class so that they can also get accolades. So congratulations to all the graduating students.
And Joseph Jegede as
well.
Joseph
Jegede, oh my goodness, yes, of Arise News, he graduated as well. Vimbai, very quickly before we go.
Our time is up. Congratulations to all the graduates. I'm a lover of academia, so
yes,
I'm behind
that's
it.
all I have for you on what's trending.
Well, thank you so much, Shaitan. It's been great seeing you this week. I know next week we should have Ojiba next week. Thank you very much.